I've kind of like plateaued. I've been playing Overwatch since the first season, like the first season it came out, and
Mm-hmm.
I've been Diamond the entire time.
Mm,
So
mm,
I'd
mm.
like to get Grandmaster. Like because in the last year I've climbed to Master. I'm currently Masters 2. I made a
Wow.
big
Okay.
jump in the last in the last like 3 months I've been a big jump from like struggling to get Masters 5 to like Masters 3, Masters 2 consistently.
Wow. Okay. Incredible. That's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah, but I have a lot of like ranked anxiety, and I think that's like a big thing that's holding me back. Like
Sure.
I currently have 3 accounts that are all Masters 3 right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of like I'll play on one, I'll get to Masters 3, then hop onto another account and just keep doing that until the season ends.
Um. Okay. So that's definitely unusual, but I will say that I mean you are practicing at the Masters 3 level, right? So um
Yeah,
I think the main thing would be that if you were getting all the accounts to Masters 3 and then stop playing for the rest of the season.
yeah, that's what's happening. Is
Okay,
that
okay, okay,
yeah,
okay.
I get
Okay.
to like my peak, and then I switch to a new account, get to the peak, and then keep doing that.
I see, I see, I see. Okay, okay. Well, then at that point, you need to decide what's going to be the burner. you know, what's
Yeah,
going to be the account
yeah.
that you need to throw away for practice purposes.
Well, yeah, that becomes the issue. Is that all these accounts are made to be burners, and then they get to peak, and then I treat them as if they were a main.
Yeah. Well, shoot, man, that's obviously not optimal here. Okay, so
Not
what?
at
Why?
all.
Where has that always been the case? Now, I assume that you haven't had a million burners, but has ranked anxiety specifically kind of always been something that you've struggled with?
Yeah, and I think it's like how it'll work is I'll make a new account for like as a burner to like practice Tracer, let's say. I'll get up to my peak, and then I'll start to see my teammates as they're probably better at Tracer, so I shouldn't play Tracer, or I'll be scared to take the duel, so I'll switch to other heroes. And I think that's where it comes from.
Okay. Now keep me updated here because your forum mentioned Wrecking Ball.
Yes. He's always like whenever I play the game, Wrecking Ball is like the guy I'll default to, but I've been really into DPS recently. So that's what I want to focus on is I think my Cassidy.
Okay.
But Wrecking Ball's always just kind of been like a background character, something I play
Oh,
for fun.
okay, okay, okay. So this is actually Cassidy that we're speaking about then.
Yes, I think the form's a little outdated.
That's fine. That's fine. Just let me know. I mean, you mentioned Cassidy, but yeah, I mean, it will just let me know when and where it's different. Okay, so you want to improve ranked anxiety, and I think that you're giving it too many of like the flankers respect, too much fear about oh no they're gonna kill me or whatever. Correct.
Yes, yeah, that
Okay.
seems to be a big one.
Okay.
'Cause I play pretty passive, I find.
Okay. And define passive here.
Like I won't die. I'll play my life a lot, but I feel like that sacrifices damage and potential to kill squishies because I'm hiding in my backline as opposed to going for a high risk, high reward play.
Yeah, I understand. Okay. Okay. So what's the solution here? Like I
Is the
know you came
solution
to me.
like
I know you came to me for that, but I'm curious what your thoughts are.
yeah, like my knee-jerk reaction is just to get on a burner and start inting games. In a sense, like just do these high risk plays so I can like kind of see if they really are the bad play.
Sure.
But
How do you get the Masters 3? What do you think are your strengths? What are some things that you've maybe even improved at? Because obviously you said hard sec diamond forever, and yet you've broken into mid masters. Do you have any idea what has been better, or just a little bit of everything? What have you learned?
see, I always just want to say the game's gotten easier, but I don't know if that's true.
It's not.
So I think I have a good understanding of like the counters and where to like position.
Like
Oh,
in what regard?
like
How would you do that? You're talking to a plat Cassidy or a gold Cassidy. How would you explain?
hmm.
What's Cassidy good
Like
at? What's Cassidy
Cassie's
good at?
good
What
at
are your strengths?
mid range, keeping control of high grounds.
Okay.
I like to control flanker routes while still kind of being in a main area, so you can still see the main fight, but while you're also
Okay.
handling an off angle.
Okay. 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 What about CDs?
CDs, flash is huge. Roll is not as huge.
Okay. How do you
I
use
think
flash?
actually the flash, whenever there's a flanker, I'm using it. I've been using it a lot more on like whenever there's a dive tank. I've been flashing them more instead of just ignoring them.
Okay. Just getting
But
value out of it.
that's yeah, that seems to be the main thing is just using the CDs instead of holding them.
Okay. What about training time? What would you say
training
to like
time.
a plat player? Like, what are some things that how do you practice the game? Like, okay, we said you obviously have a terrible habit with burners, right? But clearly you're
Yeah.
practicing in good quantity and good quality, right? So how do you approach things with or without ranked anxiety?
Yeah, I'll do like vac stuff for 5 minutes. I think you should warm up aim and then just jump right into the game. Just
Okay.
right into comp, no quick play.
Sure. And then when you go into game, like, do you just practice the same way every game? Do you go in? Do you set goals? Do you
Yeah,
not set goals? Do you
it feels
communicate?
pretty
Like, what do you do?
autopilot. It feels really autopilot. Like I don't join team chat. I just kind of try to click heads. It's the main thing. Like I'm just trying to get kills.
Okay. Have you worked on any specific things with Cassidy that got you from Diamond to Masters? We talked about it. You said feels like it's gotten easier, but realistically, do you?
I think
like,
it is like it's the playing the life more, and I think that's why I'm scared I'm too passive now. Is because I've benefited a lot from just living instead of dying when I see like my team's going in, so I should just int, and now I'm playing my life, and that's gotten me higher rank. But now I'm getting to the point where I'm just playing my life. It feels like almost too much, and when my team engages, I'm not engaging, so I'm lacking the follow up.
I see.
And
I see. I
then,
see.
but I'm also the why I'm saying I'm passive is because I'll see my damage is consistently lower than other people,
Okay.
and so I feel like that is the telltale sign of not applying enough pressure. But that could be incorrect.
Could be. Yeah. Okay. So here's what I want you to do.
Yeah.
We have a good idea of like what we need to look at specifically with the gameplay, and we'll experiment and figure out what really is your strengths or weaknesses from gameplay. But obviously, the most important thing is the way that you're approaching ranked, right?
Yeah.
The way that you're approaching ranked is not great. So what's the plan?
I think the plan is to stick with one account for this season.
Okay.
That's what I've been doing so far. And I got Masters 2 from Masters 3. Now that's a very small sample size. It's been like 7 games, but it looks like it's going good.
Okay.
Now it's sticking to that.
So which account is it going to be?
Currently it is like the rank on the sorry, what do you
No.
like,
What's the name of the account?
oh, it's Ananda.
Okay. And why that account?
Just it was the account that I logged into when the season started, honestly.
Oh,
It
okay.
didn't really feel like
Okay. Okay.
I don't
Sounds good.
I don't think I have attachments. Like I have 7 burner accounts. Like it's a problem. It's definitely
Sure.
a problem. So I don't really have attachment to them. It's just kind of whatever one.
Okay, okay. And so so I want you to do something for me. I want you to write this down specifically what account you're going to play on and one trick on. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I would not even commit yourself to one tricking in that account, but you should focus on that account. You always log in and play a couple of games on that account first, always. Write it down.
Okay, yeah. Wrote that down.
So we don't want any guesswork, any experimentation. No, this is the account that you're going to do. We're going to change that today. So you play in that account. Now, we don't have any rank goals with that account at all, but we do have practice goals, right? So what may end up happening is that you go into that account and you're just kind of just experimenting, learning, practicing things, and then you go and you want to sweat and try hard. That's fine, but that account needs to be played priority every single day, at least for every time that you would normally play at least 2 to 3 games on that specific account.
Okay.
We gotta
and you wouldn't worry about hero pool? Just as long as it's on that account?
Sorry, what was the question?
You wouldn't worry about hero pool?
No, I would worry. I'll be practicing Cassidy specifically.
Okay,
Yeah.
Cassidy
Yeah.
specifically. Okay, I see.
Yeah, whatever hero that you were practicing that season, which I assume for today we're looking at Cassidy, yeah?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So then, yeah, that's like, we just have to bite the bullet at some point, and that I think we need to start with that like right now. Like, and I don't want there to be any guesswork. This is exactly what we're doing. This is exactly how long. And this is exactly when. So like, let's get it in, black and white, and then we can go from there. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. I think your ranked approach beyond that's okay. A little bit autopilot-y, as you said, but you have some awareness of potentially some ideas of maybe I'm not taking enough risks, and maybe part of that also leans into the ranked anxiety part of things as well. And so we can take a look here. Okay, any questions here before we take a look at some gameplay? I think we should start with that then.
No, I think that was really it.
Okay.
I pasted the code.
Got it?
It is a Pariso game. It was
Now, why
pretty
this
close,
code?
but we lost second. It was just like I played some games last night after the season. These are the most recent games I played, and I feel like this was the closest one of the night.
Okay. Hey, I've coached the Kiriko player in the other team.
Oh, nice.
So if she pops off, it's my responsibility. If she doesn't, it's not my responsibility.
I don't recall, so like she might.
Okay. So we're gonna go in with a set of expectations because of your rank. So if I see things that don't line up with what I'm expecting, I will point that out. But if I say
Perfect.
something that doesn't immediately make sense, please let me know, because I don't know for sure if all the fundamentals that I would say would immediately click with you. So
Yeah,
don't
of course.
feel dumb or anything. Just let me know if I say anything that's like, wait, what? Okay.
Yeah.
Fan's fine. Hinder's good. Fan's good. Open wide your angle. If you're going to peek a Widow, at least make her guess where she's going to put her crosshair, right?
Mm.
Poke, poke, poke. Now, I would take space here if I were you.
Okay.
And by that,
As in, like, walking.
Yeah, I would
just straight
deepen.
ahead?
I would deepen my angle, exactly. So
Okay.
by deepening my angle, that can either mean swinging wide, or that can mean swinging forward more aggressively. Your choice. Now,
Yeah.
I don't like swinging wide in this particular context. Why?
Because of the Widow. Like, I
Because
would
of the
be
Widow.
walking forward just to look at the Widow. Is my first reaction.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take a different angle, roll across, and peek the angle here. Now, why is that? Let's
See,
give
I
you
would
some
do it for the-
context.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
so you're going to solve a problem. You said Widow. That's good. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
But why now?
So we just use Bubble.
That's it.
We see the Ana's dead.
That's it right there. That's
Okay.
it.
Bubble's a trigger.
Bubble can be a trigger. So basically what I'm looking for is I'm looking for you to not just basically AFK hold an angle, but to look at the battlefield as a set of, okay, this person has used a cooldown. I can deepen my angle appropriately. So
Okay.
think of all DPS as being on a bungee cord, okay? Where
Okay.
your anchor is here. You can push forward and you can back up. And every DPS has the potential to do that, okay?
Yeah.
Different DPS can rotate very, very far on either direction. Very easy to disengage, very easy to rotate, very easy to push. So they have a responsibility to always be in the best position possible.
Yeah.
Then there are DPS that are very slow. They don't rotate a lot, but they're very, very powerful where they plant their feet. Widowmaker's a good one. A lot of hit scan, right? Ashe,
Yeah.
Cassidy, even characters like Junkrat, right? They do rotate, they can rotate, Mei, but just very, very powerful wherever they are.
Yeah.
Then there's characters like Freya, characters like Echo, characters like Genji that are not that powerful, but have the capability of rotating frequently, so their power comes from always being in the optimal position at the right time.
Okay.
Cassidy doesn't rotate a lot, but he does rotate. So, for example, here, I can't just materialize in the back line, and I can't flank all the way over to here, but I can go from here to here, and I should. And if I don't, you're putting out less pressure than you should, and you're screwing your tank over.
Okay. Because, like, my concern when I think about going for the Widow is I'm going to be traded by, like, the Monkey and the Venture in some way, or even the Kuriko.
But
Is
that's
that with-
that's not true because of what you've seen.
So the bubble is enough for me to
The
not...
bubble's enough. Because
Okay.
it's not just the bubble, it's also what you have in your toolkit as well, which is 275 HP and Hinder.
Okay.
So if I didn't have Hinder here, or I was missing HP, or there was Bubble, or I knew Venture was here with full CDs, I would. But even for Venture to get here is going to cost a cooldown.
Yeah.
So you need to take space now, because now that you have not, now you have lost space. Do you notice that?
Now they take... Yeah. now
So
they
there was
take
a
that.
window of vulnerability. You didn't capitalize off of it, and so now you've given up space. And so now to actually push forward is hard.
Yeah. Okay. Because we were up one, but still this fight looks...
Correct.
We did nothing with it.
Correct. And a lot of people make the mistake of when they're up one or they see an opportunity, they just press W without thinking. It's not really how it works. You should instead, what's a deeper angle, a more aggressive angle, a better high ground, a better space, a better corner that I can go to. In this particular example, it just happens to be W because of the way the high ground is situated right now, but it's not necessarily always going to be W. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Like, I play really passive here, and the reason is because I was just thinking, like, Widow. Is that the right call?
It's
'Cause-
the wrong call. It's the wrong
Okay.
call. It's the
Okay.
right call to respect the Widowmaker, but it's the wrong call to assume that means that you should be standing still completely.
Yeah, like, I was watching this back briefly, and this first minute is rough to watch back.
Yes.
I just
because
stand here doing nothing.
this would be disrespectful to Widowmaker even if you're up one.
Yeah.
This is respectful to Widowmaker because you have the advantage in this duel.
Oh, and I shouldn't even worry about things like where that yellow car is, like a widow
No,
standing there, because that's
no,
so little value. Okay.
well, because you can also listen as well. You can also
Yeah.
listen and go like think about it this way. Like I can tell you this, like equally skilled Cassidy, equally skilled Widowmaker. When the Cassidy peaks this, unless the Widowmaker is pre-scoped here, which is very unlikely, equally skilled Cassidy always wins this, like 85% of the time.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yep.
I'm
It's
respecting
just-
Widow way too much.
It's
then. I
it's
thought
just
that'd
a
be like-
range thing. It's a range thing,
Yeah.
right? It's just
Okay.
she's just not comfortable in the range, and she has to stand still to scope. You don't. You can strafe, you can roll, you can do all sorts of things, and so she loses, right? If
Yeah.
you have the best Widowmaker in the world, the best cast in the world, best Widowmaker loses that almost every single time.
Okay.
Just based off the range. I like how you're using Fan the Hammer.
Yeah,
it's
something
good.
took over me yesterday.
It's, I mean,
Right
if,
click and
if,
everything.
if it's a bubble, you know, use it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Good stuff. Now we need to rotate quickly.
Yeah, because I shouldn't be standing here, right? Even when I'm down monkey, I should walk to that bridge
See,
area.
this is the moment, right? Like this is where you really have to make a decision here. We know that you've killed a couple of people, so they're in spawn. There's a window here for you to take space and catch a punish here, maybe even just to hide. If you don't do this, you know that your team's going to have to back off, right? So then where should you rotate if we're backing off? Tough, isn't it?
Yeah, I want to walk and get a trade, but that's not right on defense. Because I think that's what happens is I do go for a
I mean,
trade.
it can be. It
But-
can be. You could go up here and sit and hide and crouch and punish them when they come up because they're going to get sloppy with it. But you're not doing that.
Yeah.
You need to do
Yes,
that
I'm
now.
just-
You need to do that now,
Yeah.
right? Like there's that window, and so you don't do it. Now, let's say you want to play more defensively and expect your team to back off. Then where would you rotate to?
Would you go with a soldier and go back? I think I would
No,
go
it's
left.
too open, right? So
That's
Widow
too
will blow
open.
your head
too.
off.
Oh, and they have a widow. Yeah,
Widow will
okay,
blow
so
your
you just
head
go
off.
close left. You go
Yep.
close left.
You just kind of sit here, right? Or you'd sit here, right? This is fine.
Yeah.
It's power ESO first. It sucks, but this is probably not it's not a terrible thing, right? Like kind of holding here. So you need to decisively rotate back because we're missing one, or you need to decisively rotate forward because there's a window of opportunity where you can actually get a trade in a range that is strong for your character. I understand Venture is a problem, but you have Roll, you have Hinder, and you probably have the element of surprise too.
Okay.
You need to choose.
Yeah, like
You can't
because
gray.
my
you know?
idea when the monkey died is that we can just hold this space, but that's not going to happen. And is
Nope.
that always wrong to think that you can hold this space? I feel like the more that we talk about it, the more I think it is.
The problem is not is you're saying that we're holding this space, but where is your where are your angles? Where's your map control? Where's your high ground? Where's your vision from this position right now?
You're really not holding. You're just waiting for them to walk into you. But by the
You're-
time they
right.
walk into you, they're going.
This isn't a good position for you to hold at all. Like you can't see anything. Like you see this and everything that you can see, the Widow can see better, right? So do you see that? Like you're not holding space right now. You're just kind of waiting for them to walk to here, and the fight's actually happening here, right? So
Yes, okay.
you either needed to fully rotate out or not. This is okay, but my goodness, this should have happened ages ago. Good stuff. I mean, it's a good trade eventually, like you, but it just was so poorly set up.
Yeah.
Okay. I really like your cooldown usage so far. This is good. You could even pop Noon here, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it was just a hindsight noon. I really don't feel like it did anything.
It's fine. It did. It did. So let's think about it this way. Would that Widow be peaking right now? Probably. What would you do if the Widow was peaking right now? I don't know. There's not a lot you could do. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not great, but it's also just high noon. So this is always going to be a difficult retake for you. And so your only hope was that there was somebody going to be there, and there wasn't. So GG's go next.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because I even started using noon just to like chunk 200 health off of tanks in some fights, but I feel like that's a little silly. Like it's
Most
really
things-
opportunistic, but like
Yeah.
I'll be holding it for 2 fights and I just want to use it, and then I'll just pop it.
The most consistent
some
use of
damage.
noon, the most consistent use of noon is to snipe people, right? And what I mean by that is that like normally when you swing wide in this angle, unless they're literally on top of you, your fall off is pretty harsh at this range.
Yeah.
But obviously noon doesn't care about that at all. So you're actually a threat at this range with noon. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
even though you
okay.
can't snipe these people, you force them back, which in theory gives your team an opportunity. But yeah, it's always going to be hard.
Gotcha.
This is hubris. You can't do this.
Yeah.
And what this needs to be is you also had this information. So let's start with this right now. Everything right now needs to be about taking space. So where is space available to you with the information that you have?
So I heard a Widow
Okay.
shoot.
You know where she
I
is
see
too.
yeah, I see the Ana dart top left. So I know their team is set up in the high ground. I think I should be helping my soldier.
I agree. You are good in this space, right? You got 275, you got Hinder, you got Roll. You can murder this, clear this out. Good. Now, yes, this is still scary, but at least it's a little bit more appropriate for your range.
Yeah.
Okay? At the very least, you're forced to Winston out. Okay? What else? Give me another solution. There's almost always 2 solutions for every character on every map.
See, I was walking towards the venture in this, and I don't think that's right because you have to cross the Widow sight line.
But that's why you have Roll.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's why you have 275 HP, right? You walk here, you roll, you do the little head dance, and you get to here, and you sit here. You get a little bit of healing, and then you take space in the venture. Now, whether the venture's here or not, that we don't know, but this still would have been an appropriate angle for you to push.
Yeah, because I that was the plan, I think, but I saw Widow, and I just started seeing red, and then that's a very bad duel I should not be taking.
And see, that's the funny thing is you're concerned about Widow, and yet look what you do.
Yeah, and then I see her, and I start thinking I can hit the headshots.
Mm-hmm.
And then here, yeah, it's a micro error.
I mean, you just misplayed the duel terribly. Like,
Yeah. I don't fan there.
Yeah, I agreed. You just shoot. Yeah, you just got rolled.
Yeah.
That's a pretty advantageous duel. I mean, as you know, so you know, that space that you took was correct. You just messed it up.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. You hear
See,
Widow.
I don't know if I guess is that too micro to even like. I stopped doing the rotate to look for the venture instead of completing the rotate.
I think you stopped the rotate because you heard infrasights. Let me actually turn this up a little bit. You tell me.
Because I feel like I would have stopped for the venture.
You hear infrasights here?
I do. Yeah, it's hard to think of what I was thinking in the moment.
I don't think this is good with infrasights.
Okay.
With where you know that she
play
is. Yeah, she's just gonna, there's no high ground you can hold here. So yeah, I think regardless of the venture, you're gonna need to double back and play the space here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So maybe you did it for venture, but it was still the right decision. So we're gonna pretend that you did it on purpose.
Love that. Okay.
Well, okay, hang on a second here.
Oh yeah. See. Okay, what was I thinking here?
Well, you let your team ping Widow, and you saw that she was on the floor, so then you finished your rotation. And now you're cooking, because this is at a range where you can feel confident taking a Widow duel. Or anything, right? Yeah, so this is good. The problem is that if the Widow wasn't on low, you would have been screwed, right? So you're kind of reliant off of her extending herself, and then getting the ping, and then taking the space appropriately. So the question is, like, what would you have done if she had not been on low? Well, you'd have been stuck, right? That's the problem.
Yeah.
So it worked out, but that was lucky.
I was just getting to that close right high ground, but I struggle to get there. And I think it's just you have to take the stair. Yeah, it's just exploring the map, I guess.
Yeah, just like you were already there, right? Just roll. There you go.
Because like where the venture is, right? That's where I'd want to ideally play in that area as cast.
I'm gonna hover here, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could just literally just plop yourself right here, just listen, play games with her. You know what I'm saying? And
so
then the Widow.
Yeah,
you keep forcing top here, but with a Widowmaker, this is just not going to work. Like, you can see, this feels so stressful, right? So this would work if they don't have Widowmaker, but this is you. Basically, your lifetime space taking, problem solving, and so on is not very good. It's not,
not at all.
It's very messy. It feels very much like I like high grounds, and so I will always take this position, always, regardless of the situation, right?
Yes.
And I think like this is something that, well, obviously like this is really frustrating, right? Like you're not able to take any space or any attention. Now this is kind of funny because it almost feels like if the venture comes in or Winston comes in, you'll be there to stop him. But you are losing a lot of proactive space control. And now you're still kind of cooked. You know, it's just like you can't really do anything. So yeah, you kind of tickle Venture, but Venture shoves you into the locker again, and now you're stuck into a choke again.
Yes.
So this Widow is really getting in your head, and you're letting her do it by not problem solving where to go.
Yeah, I'm just like I know the Widow's an issue, but I don't solve the position that's making her an issue.
This isn't Circuit Royale, right? There is a choice. There is an option for you available. These maps are mostly carefully designed to give you a solution, right?
Yes.
So, and then ironically here, do you see the swap?
Yeah, as soon as they get off Widow, I'll play the right high ground.
No, you can play the high ground, right? But I mean, you probably don't even know they're on Genji right now, to be honest with you. But that's okay. I mean, this is still okay. Like, you're still lethal with Hinder here.
I feel like I don't usually do this, where I'm just like standing still, but maybe I do. I need to watch
I think this is like this right here.
Yeah.
I mean, this angle's good. If the Widow is holding main.
True.
Right? Because this is the moment where like Venture goes in and Venture dies, or Winston dies, or Widow dies here, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. So, I mean, this is okay. Maybe a little bit of an overextension there, and then obviously, like, if you're going in that deep versus Venture Genji, you have to hit your Hinder, you have to hit your shots.
Yes, yes.
So the suboptimal position can work if you're mechanically perfect.
And I was not mechanically perfect this game.
I assume you got the Hinder perk. I probably would.
Yeah, I've always been going for it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty decent.
Yeah, the 110 damage feels insane.
Mm-hmm. I would just roll on the bubble, or fan the bubble a little sooner.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just mechanics. Like, needed to be a little bit faster with a roll, a little bit more punish on the Genji. But like, you're not always expected to win those situations because you guys didn't have space. So you're the one kind of shoved into the choke and trying to figure your way out, and you were unable to do it. That's it.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll regret this later, won't I?
Okay. And this is fine, but this is also now a situation where what space is available to you? Maybe not this immediate second, but soon.
I'm thinking left side.
Yeah. I mean, it's wide open. Like anywhere you want to do here, anywhere you want to do here, right? Like you don't want to isolate yourself maybe too far without being within LOS of your supports, but like.
Yeah, I didn't really think about the comp when I said that. Would I want to play it against the Venture Genji Winston?
I think you do because of the space between them and you. Yeah,
that's still okay.
So yeah, because if you think about it, you want open sightlines, right? Versus these comps, right? It's the Widow that's causing you issues, right? So if there's no Widowmakers here, then you can take those more open sightlines as long as your supports can heal you. Because if you're here and poking, you are miserable to dive with roll, hinder, and support pocket.
Yeah.
Think about like what happened the last fight and the fight before that. It was when you were letting them get up in your grill because your angles were close. I don't hate this noon, by the way. I mean, obviously it might be kind of messy with sleep, so I think that's okay. It's just too close for these characters. That's the problem.
Yeah, I have not adapted.
It's funny, you've started to compress your angles as soon as they swapped off of Widow.
Yeah, I feel like I think in the moment I have the advantage because of Hinder, but
you don't. You don't. Yeah, you don't. It's the problem with the mobility characters is that they have ways of baiting your cooldowns and then disengaging and then coming back in again.
Yeah.
And then as soon as ultimates come online, you know, I mean, it kind of goes without saying, right? But like High Noon is not. There's not enough damage reduction in High Noon to allow you to hold these. So this is the adjustment, and this is what we were missing. You can see it, right? All of a sudden, night and day. Force deflect, force them out, wide open space. You can shoot whatever you want.
I'll shoot the air.
Just take the space, you know? You earned this. Like, think about it this way. You force that deflect early, you should be poking the Winston from this. And then turn that attention back to that Genji, right?
Yeah.
You've earned it. You've forced this deflect. You've got him spooked. This is you trying to kind of be a little bit of a cheapskate here, but, you know, bad news.
There's a Genji, yeah.
Right? And once again, you got too close. You actually started on the correct rotation. This is really smart from you. To just be patient, poke, prod, force deflect, shoot out, force the primal, bait the Genji to dash you, whatever. Like, this is what you're built for, right?
Yeah.
It's close. I mean, this is just trying to get a trade, right? Nice job. Nice. Really nice. Again, look at this.
Yeah.
Beautiful,
it works
beautiful.
out.
There's other heroes that could take this angle and do more damage, but there's other heroes that couldn't live on this angle versus the Genji. That's what makes Cassidy unique, right? Ashe should do more damage, but if a Genji gets on top of Ashe, he's dead. Or she's dead, sorry. Right? There's a chance. If you play your Hinder well, and you did, you get him. This is fine. This is just not ult tracking, that's all. This is just not ult tracking.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, it happens. And I don't even think it's necessarily bad because you actually forced the nano at a really awkward time. Like, they did not want to nano then, and I don't think she wanted to nano the Kiriko either. So was it worth it? No, but it wasn't a horrific error either.
Okay.
It happens. And in fact, your team C9s it. So it happens. It happens. That last fight there was much better. So what's the crucial, really the one error we're seeing here from you? The one specific error.
I'm getting really close, and that's just because I'm not adapting to team comps.
Yes.
I would say. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you're getting really close, and then you're staying really far, and the complete wrong times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just flip the script. Flip the script, and we're cooking. So when there is an extreme range character, you have more flexibility with shorter angles. When there's extreme short range character, you have more flexibility with further angles. Now, the tricky question is, what do I do when they're on Widow Venture? Well, probably respect the Widow, disrespect the Venture. Why? Because you have capabilities of playing around Venture if you've got your Hinder and so on. Okay, what if they're on, I don't know, Torb Junkrat? Well, probably play pokier. You can, if you hit your shots, you might be able to outpoke the Torb in those medium ranges. You get what I'm saying? You're going to have to use your judgment here, but it's these extreme examples with the sniper or with the Genji Venture composition. Those are the ones that it's important that you're taking the right space. Okay. That's the important one. Like if they're on Cassidy Genji here, you could pretty much just play pretty smart, just open up your angles, do whatever is available to you. But it's these kind of examples where it's an obviously extreme example that there's just no reason for you to do anything other than abuse your range.
Okay.
This is fine. Initially start. We've seen bubbled. You notice that? So you're walking forward a little bit.
Yeah.
You need to be careful here. And this is where you haven't seen bubble. So you need to be ready because they're coming for you right here.
Yeah.
Where would you disengage this?
I'm really deep. I should not be this deep. I think you just go left.
I think so too.
You have to run back. My idea was to walk up the stairs, but yeah, I was not on the same page as my tank.
That was good. I mean, that's fine though. Like you live to die if you force bubble, and then you didn't like bleed to death, right? So there's a window of opportunity now where somebody might die. Okay. Nice shots, and like they kind of opened up the range on accident, and then they get punished, right? And because you're not as cooldown reliant as, like for example, a Winston, you have a window of strength when he has a window of vulnerability. Unfortunate Hinder, to be honest. Like kind of important that you have that still.
Yeah.
But this has been okay. Like it's been minus the Hinder, and maybe you can always do better mechanically. This has been okay. You've been able to kind of take space, disengage dives, rinse and repeat. That's kind of all you have to do, right? When Winston commences bubbling you just need to live, and then push him again. This is okay.
I don't think I should be rolling his jump. Right?
I don't think it matters. You just need to get out of bubble.
Okay.
That's the crucial thing. So it's not so much about rolling his jump burst, because like, oh, maybe it's not that much. It's just more about getting your mobility to move out of the space. That's it.
Okay.
Sure. I don't know why you guys are in Bat Moira.
I don't know. It's meta. New meta.
I guess so. And
Yeah, no, it's a tough comp with Winston, I think.
yeah, I mean Winston's gonna completely curb stomp your team, but it's okay.
But I feel like this game was tough, but I could have done it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we're looking at our defense, right? So far,
Yeah.
attack has been played well enough. Defense, not so much, right?
Yeah.
Nice. This is a weird moment where I actually think focusing the Winston bubble is a mistake. But it's been okay up until this point. There's a very small... I don't think it's a bad mistake. Like, it's fine. It's useful. But there's an important reason why I don't think it's optimal. Can you spot why?
Um,
So think of it as an opportunity cost. What could you be doing instead?
I know the Genji dives in like 3 seconds, but that's not happening yet. I could take high ground when they're all
That's it.
distracted.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
it. So when we were looking at this earlier, like on defense, when there was really nothing else to shoot, burning Winston bubble is really good. But that's because you already had the position that you wanted. This is kind of an evolution and process. And so for you to focus bubble down is saying that I'm not going to capitalize off of the space that I now have. So is it worth the burn bubble, or is it worth the rotate and take an angle as a result of where the Winston's not?
I see. And that's not a scary rotate even into
No,
their
it's
comp?
not. Not
No?
anymore. Not anymore. Because what do you see?
I didn't think bubble was that.
Well, it's not just bubble, though. It's not just bubble.
Because Venture's dead too?
Venture's dead, too. And keep in mind,
Yeah.
I'm not even necessarily asking you to push top. I'm just asking you to swing wide a little bit. Get to here.
Gotcha.
Get to here. Hold your roll, maybe. Hold your hinder, right? And then that way, I mean, well, let's just park the camera here. Let's see what happens. You ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
So first off, there's Genji.
Yeah.
You know what you'd be doing once. That's what you hear. What would you do
Yeah,
from here? You'd be like,
it's just a
oh,
free
okay.
backline.
Well, then I'm just gonna walk
Yeah.
up here, right? Pop, 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 right?
Yeah,
That's
it's so
what you're
free.
doing, right? And it's there because you put yourself in that position. So your initial start on the rotation, all of this attack has been good. It's been really good. It's how you got the Genji earlier, right? Like right here. Like you tried to take space and then rolled away when the Winston went for you. But this time the Winston didn't go for you. So you're free.
Yeah.
Get out, go free. Go, like, while your backline's screaming and
Okay.
crying and suffering, maybe you can help them, but maybe the Winston's too far away from you. Maybe you're not in a position to hinder him. Maybe it's just not worth your time. So
Is that really situational to think of, like, if I'm not the dive target that I'm free to rain?
I would
should
say it's more about, do I see an opportunity to take space?
Okay.
And this is not just a Winston thing. This is ball diva, anything. Like, even just a freaking Roadhog in your backline, but he's over here, and you're like, I let them survive. I'm gonna get value because of their suffering. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
That's kind of like right now we're kind of going backwards, and I don't like that. I didn't mind you fanning the bubble here to help your team out, but then once you fan the bubble, okay, it's time to move on. You've done your job, right?
Yeah, okay.
Because look at that,
like,
he's still
even
getting
here,
kills. Look at that, he's still getting
Yeah.
kills despite you, right? So because he's just too far
Yeah.
away. He's just too far away. And even here,
I'm
we're
still-
still going back, right?
Yeah. Like, he leashes me so hard.
He does. And so he's basically baiting your attention, and all you've done is fan his bubble. It's the only meaningful value that you've done. Everything else has been, he's just done what he's wanted. So it's really important. It's kind of like going back to that venture and second point defense. Don't see yourself as a solution to problems. Think of yourself as a person that puts out pressure wherever you are. So if you're here and you can't be here, then put out pressure here, right? If you're here and the Winston jumps right on top of you, fan him, hold him, hinder him. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's a better way to think about that.
Yeah,
Way to write it
you're
down.
really good at dealing with Winston if the Winston's there. But if the Winston's not there, you need to deal with responsibilities elsewhere. One of the things that you're really good at with Winston is if the Winston doesn't jump you, a lot of times you're allowed to poke him before he even jumps, which makes it really awkward for him. Like right now, yeah, sure. I mean, I would question whether you should be taking high ground right now, right?
Yeah.
But you didn't, so okay, I guess. Because you are here, to be fair. Okay. This is just you took space too late, and now you're desperately looking for value. You kind of see that? So this is actually like pretty. It was pretty reasonable what you did there. Like, as long as she doesn't have cooldowns, it's all right. Sure. Sure. Yep.
Do I take height? I feel like
You should have like 3 seconds ago, but you were the only one on
Yeah.
cart, so like I would say now. Yes.
no. Okay, yeah. Once someone's on.
No, yeah. So there's kind of like this weird thing where like now I'm actually okay with you focusing Winston, but I'm okay with you focusing Winston only because you refuse to take high ground. If you had taken high ground here, this would have been a better use of your responsibilities here, poking here, because that's what you're positioned for.
Yeah.
Sure. And we get cap. Still winnable. Beautiful shots. That's a clip right there. Nice shot.
Imagine.
Nice job, nice job, nice job. Okay, let's take some space. Freya. Now, Freya's weird. I just coached Freya before this session. And the fact that Freya can ruin your day, or you can ruin her day. If she hits the first shot, you need to not take the duel. If she does not hit the first shot, she's dead meat. That's kind of the way to look at it.
Okay.
Her advantage is not necessarily her range because she sits really still when she's shooting. Her advantage is the fact that she might catch you with your pants down because you might not expect her to peek the angle that she is. She's more dive than poke in a lot of ways. There's certainly very much a hybrid. It's like how if an Echo full stickies you need to respect that. If an Echo misses her stickies, ruin her day. It's kind of a similar principle. So this position here is fine. There's no Widowmaker. So you can kind of situational here, but this is where like, okay, she's hitting her shots, so I'm gonna respect it.
Yeah.
Now, this is the sad part. You can't sit here. You got to take space.
Yeah. So as soon as I jumped out a window, I should go back top left.
Yes, you deserve to drop. You needed to drop. You would have died if you didn't drop, but you got to go back and try it again. You got to go back and try it again. You run to Freya, you run to Winston, that's fine. You run to Kiriko, that's fine. You just were too slow. So you were too slow, so you get caught in no man's land. That's the worst case scenario. If you run into Kiriko in a dark alley, that's all right. You know, it's not great, but it's all right. But if you run into Kiriko, if you're here, where's your cover here?
Yeah.
You know, there's nowhere to go. You're fricked.
Yeah, I rolled out of. I could have killed her too. I should have splashed.
Yeah, it's not intuitive to roll into a threat, but that's why you should have been there in the first place.
Yeah.
And this is a Spylo student, so this is what they're going to be doing, right? So you just need to be ready for that.
Because is this map on cast really just taking top left?
On attack, yeah.
Yeah, because
pretty much.
I'm trying to think of other.
Pretty much, yeah. I pretty much. I mean, you could do like some little gank shenanigans here, or maybe farm tank from here, depending on the composition. You can also play underneath and just punish tank from here as well. Like, there's technically, like for example, if they were like running Widow Ash up top, you just top left's not going to help you.
Yeah.
Which might mean that you push cart, angle on their tank, peek the ash, pop, pop, and then hide, and then, rotate under and those kind of stuff, and then, flap your wings and fly up and over. It still bothers me so much that there's not a staircase here, but maybe it would make flankers too OP, I don't know.
That changed the map so much.
But, basically, it's top left unless you're getting hard poke, then you got to play really, really ganky underneath. Verticality is pretty much king on this map, so it is difficult. You need to take space. Yep, thank you. No, Winston's not your problem. Venture is. You got here, just got here a little late.
Yeah, I keep getting stuck when I see someone on my backline.
Yes, I've noticed that. Everything freezes. Yeah. And it's a really tricky thing to do because you do have to make that judgment quickly. Can I actually help that? Is that close or is that too far away for me to help? Right? Because think about what would have happened here. You would still be playing patty cake with Winston, and meanwhile, the cart's moving. You just killed Venture. You're about to roll out to the right or to the left and actually apply some pressure on Freya. This is valuable for your team, right? So this is fine. This is what's unique to Cassidy, is being able to kind of apply pressure here because of your HP. I mean, your team has lost this, but I think you played this one okay. And crucially, you were on cart, because cart was an angle, because everybody was over here, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you don't need to be allergic to cart if everyone else is elsewhere. Was she getting healed? 1, 2, 3. She must have been getting healed. And she must have been getting healed.
I thought I only do 70 a body shot, don't I?
Oh, you're right. You're right. I'm dumb as rocks. My brain was thinking 75.
I wish.
Oh, jeez. Can you imagine? Yeah, I'm dumb. Okay. No, this is fine. Okay. Yep. Man, you're so scary here. I wouldn't be congesting in, right? Just poke, 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 and then whop here.
Yeah, you have a free stay on the back line.
Yes. Now, High Noon may not be optimal here with Freya and Sleep Dart, but you can pop, scare them, and then decide what you want to do from there. Maybe even a late High Noon, like let your Winston jump, then High Noon, right? That might work, right? But you don't want to put yourself in here. It's not because that you're scared of proximity. It's just no reason to lose your angle to just throw your corpse in the middle of the pile. So again, it kind of goes back to space from a perspective of angles, right? That's fundamentally what you're looking for. I actually like you dropping and forcing cart from here more than I like putting yourself here.
Yeah.
If that makes
Anything
sense.
to get the attention off of
Anything to get your attention. And this is okay for you. Like this is you're safe. Like this is really playing to your strengths. You got hinder, you got roll, you got HP. You know, nothing can really push you here too much without risking death, right? Mm-hmm. But you can tell this is okay, but you need to keep moving forward. Like let's keep taking space. Don't just catch the dive, catch the dive, catch the dive, catch the dive, catch the dive.
Yeah.
Because it puts him in a situation where that Ana Kiriko, that the Freya are just never really contested here. You could noon this.
I think I do, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Only needed to roll that. Yeah, you needed to roll that. You roll that, you live. Yeah, the noon was good because you actually had follow-up. Noon is good for sniping. Noon is good for follow-up. Noon not so good for opening. Right, so it was close. You just needed to roll it.
Yeah.
One roll there and you're good. You're good. Oh my days. Good. Mechanical diff. That's it.
I can't win a 1v1.
That's okay. Man. Let's see. Let's see if there's anything major here. Yeah, you just missed the body shot, right? So you missed the body shot, which means the drill dash gives the HP. Because right here, right? This right here, you hit the body shot, it's over. You don't hit the body shot, there's the HP, and then yeah, you're cooked. So I mean, it was good. You used your cooldowns correctly. You took the right angle, the right time, right? Like look what's going on. This is just a duel that you're favored to win. Like equally skilled Venture, equally skilled Cassidy. You have roll hinder. Venture does not win that. Venture has to utilize their mobility against you to kind of avoid that or bait your CD, but they cannot take the 1v1. So it's annoying, but it's nothing to be ashamed of. You just lost. You made a good decision and you just played it poorly. We got more time. Let's look at another code here if you'd like to.
Sure. This is a similar thing. I'll go to full screen. This is an Eichenwald code.
Okay.
It's a similar thing, and like
Eichenwald's tough for Cass.
No, we do
honestly.
win. We do win. We shouldn't have won this though. We C9 at the end of second, but we get stuck on second for like 4 minutes.
Okay. Second point is rough. If there's any sort of poke at all, you basically have to it's like Potteriso is what it is. It's you have to be kind of flanky. It's like really, really open. It's rough, but okay. I think this is way too far.
I should be on the right by like the
I agree.
Omnic, right?
I agree. I think holding here is generally the better play. Now, if your team is holding here, you can open this angle here and kind of play here. But I think if you're controlling this space here, you are just really difficult to deal with. Plays more to your range, right? This is too far.
Yeah, I think I do rotate.
Yep, good stuff. Good stuff. Yep, that's using your beef right there. Zarya bubbles you and turns her attention to you, and you just roll away, and you're fine.
Yeah.
It's good. Use your beef, and then you re-peek. Like, it's so expensive for her to put that attention on you, right? Good stuff. Really, really, really well done. Okay. Yeah, this is fine. I mean, it's a little bit high risk, high reward, but again, this is space that you are comfortable to control.
Yeah, I remember I was here, and then I saw the Genji, so I backed off.
Yep, that's exactly what you were missing in the defense and the previous code, right? It's kind of reading the room and going, okay, I have an advantage of poke versus Genji, and I don't have to poke the Ashe from this distance. I can kind of cut her vision off and just abuse her tank, right? This is it. Yeah. Look what you're doing. This is perfect. Look at that. Ooh, right?
Oh.
Just clunky, right? I think you're doing the right things.
Yeah.
You look a little lost, though.
Yeah. No, I feel lost watching this.
But it looks. I mean, you're doing the right things. It looked a little bit, like all of a sudden a plat soul just kind of like infiltrated your body.
Yeah, no, I just have like flashes of plat. It happens all the time.
Yeah. But it's good. This is okay. So this is where you need to take space off of your Kitsune. So you just got Dynamite, which is really bad timing, but let's pretend that you didn't. What would you do off of your Kitsune? So Kitsune means there's a big, nasty noise. Everything's freaking explosive right here. So what can you do to take space?
I think you try to go on the Genji.
I think you try to go in the Genji. You don't force it. You play nice and cautious. But Genji will not get healing. You will. And so he cannot win this.
Yeah.
Now, if I was
'Cause
an
my-
Ashe, I wouldn't push this
Yep.
Genji, but you're more flexible. You've got tools to deal with this guy. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Because I'm pushing the Genji because I want to get to the bridge and shoot
Yes.
them from bridge, essentially.
Yes. So remember when we said, like, okay, the Winston's used bubble. Let's take some space.
Yeah.
Okay, we've used an ultimate. Let's take some space. Okay, we're up one. Let's take some space. Don't just run it down mid. Push your angles out. Win your duels. Cautiously, but take some space.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, you
I just
got
need to like identify triggers.
Yeah, exactly. Like, see advantages. See advantages and take space appropriately. Or disengage appropriately. This is you being low and then disengaging out, which is, like, fine. But honestly, I'd quickly go back on that right angle. Very quickly.
Yeah.
Because this feels spooky.
Yo.
Okay.
My ultimate's ready.
Okay. Okay, let's see what happens here. Yep. Yep. Nice. You have the advantage because where's her crosshair and where are you, right? She has to think about main. You catch her with the angle. So, good stuff. Okay, sure. I think here's... I hate to be that guy. I don't think you can afford to look at Bob here.
Yeah, I when I was rewatching it, I don't think that was the play.
I think you have to respect this angle here because remember, he has the advantage now because he has Bob in your backline. So what is he going to do? He's going to take space on you. So you have to be ready for this. You have to focus fully on this and make sure that you don't die here because you probably should have. You should have because you looked away from him. You have to worry about him. Now, the good news is that you did rotate backwards because you did not have an advantage anymore, which means that for this guy to kill you, means he has to go distances. And it's not quite far enough to get behind you because you're too far. That means it's easier for you to hit your shots, which means that you win the duel.
Yeah.
So you disengaged, which was fine because they have an advantage. Problem is you didn't look at your threat while you were doing that. But you still disengaged far enough, rotated far enough to where he couldn't quite get the kill on you. So nice job. Problem is that you walked forward as if you had an advantage, but you didn't. It's a 3v3. Play your distance. Because now, why all of a sudden are you sniper? Because look at these characters.
Yeah, you just need to wait a beat here, right?
It's right. It's not just beat though. Even without beat, you don't press W here. It's Zarya Lucio. This isn't Ashe.
Yes. Okay.
You know, you got to treat Overwatch like as whether it's over 66 or 5v5 as like a combination of little tiny death matches, right? Yeah. Zarya versus Cassidy, go. Like don't walk towards her, right? Keep your distance. Make her use a bubble before she gets on top of you. So even if you die here, you can pop noon on your own terms, right?
Yeah.
Not because you feel like, oh, I'm going to die if I don't, right? That's kind of the idea here. Okay. So, and your Rissa is not messing around.
No, she's a demon.
We got some space here. You have an angle, and you have your hinder. What do you think?
See, I don't want to push. I'm already like deep.
Well, I'm not talking about what you should do from here. I'm saying this whole play as a concept.
Oh, as a concept, I think it's okay.
I think it's okay too. It's risky,
that's
for
just,
sure.
Yeah, that's just because my wrist is here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's correct. But I think that's why you did this, right? Like you wouldn't normally do this, but you're like, let's go push our angle here. Now, you don't need to press W here. You shouldn't press W here because you have corner cover here, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's well timed. Now, I wouldn't be very I would be very careful about being there. You rotate away. I mean, to be honest with you, that's just your risk of being kind of a dummy. Nobody can possibly follow up off of that, so.
Yeah.
Good job managing your range. Look at that. You immediately disengage. Hinder out. It's okay. This is fine.
Yeah.
This is fine. Now. This is going to demand some creativity. Because this map is going to get real stressful. Why was it good to peel the Genji there?
I default to peeling everything. I feel like I would have peeled this even if it was bad.
Who are you
But
closer
like
to?
this is good because it's isolated.
Well,
right?
because not
I'm
just
close.
that, but because he's just right there, and everything
Yeah.
else is not. So why not?
Yeah.
You kind of see what I'm
It was
saying?
the
Like,
easiest target to shoot.
it was the easiest target to
Shit.
shoot, exactly. And it's also the most effective target to shoot because it was that or Zarya with bubbles. So, sure, go for Genji. Good job.
Okay.
Okay, this was well played by you. This was a good recontest. Now, normally, I don't like this angle for you most of the time. Why?
I feel like I get poked out.
It's
and then
pretty
I have
easy to get
nowhere
poked
go.
out, and you have an Ashe. Now, there's one
Yeah.
reason why this may work. What is that reason? What resource do you have here?
Harm. I don't think I have Harmony Orb. I
No,
was looking at my team comp.
I'm looking at your,
Noon.
Yeah, you have
you got
noon, right? So noon allows you to cheat the system a little bit. But that being said, that might mean that I don't peek here. In fact, I might actually flip the map over here and sit quietly, wait 3, 2, 1, pop noon now, right? Or I mean, if you want to pop noon here, you got to be really careful not to take premature damage and then pop it right now. Bam.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity, GG's, right? But if you're not going to go with the intention of nooning here, it doesn't make sense to play here because it's just too far. In which case,
you would
what
just
could you
play-
do? Well, that's the
I would play
key
a
thing.
story lower. I'd play a story lower.
Yeah, maybe a story
or on the
lower,
stairs.
you know, a rat here and kind of swing back and forth. Nothing's going to feel great. Like I said, this map just isn't all that good for you, but that would be that would be a nice compromise. I agree. You could still noon this if you wanted to. And now that the Ashe is dead, you can kind of poke a little bit, but it's still, even without the Ashe, it still feels a little rough. Now the recent buff definitely helps though, so.
Yeah. You really feel it.
This is fine as long as it doesn't set up your screw up your compromise your setup. I'm gonna say set up your compromise. In other words, if your team is fighting here, this is good. But if your team is fighting back here again, you're gonna want to go back to high ground. You're gonna want to go back to here. So,
Yeah.
this could just be in a situation where you get. I mean, it's hard to read because your Orisa is just fearless. This is not gonna work. You're gonna get grabbed.
No. I did it because I was trying to zone the Kariko ult.
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't thinking about
you're gonna
grabs.
get grabbed. You're gonna get grabbed. You need to get off of the floor. And you need to take your angle. Like the reason why this is bad is because you're not on an angle at all. So basically, they can just vomit whatever resource this direction. And I mean, look at your team's map control, right? Like I mean, this is not good right now. So this means really, really easy for Zarya to walk forward without taking damage because all the damage comes. You can just LOS the entire thing from here, right? Means more resources for their Cassidy to flank. It means fat beats. It means fat grabs. It means, I mean, you see the chaos here. This is just horrible, right? And that started with your setup. Whereas if you can get the time and the opportunity to retake space here, now we're chilling.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
now we're chilling.
Yeah, because it would do the exact same thing. You're just in a better spot. Like it does
Exactly.
the same thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
The Kiri ult gets nothing.
Exactly. Okay, let's you got time for one more fight? Let's do one more fight.
Sounds good.
So this is rough. Either one is tricky. I think right is the more conservative approach. That's more about kind of playing long-term, harass, distract, poke. Left is much more aggressive, but it can allow you to clear out space and high risk, high reward, right? So if you go here, you need to go. Yes.
Why is right okay with Cassidy if his range is so short?
So remember, with right, you can choose to peek high ground if you want to, or you can choose not to peek high ground if you want to from right side.
Okay, and I would just stand right until cart and just poke cart?
You would poke cart from here, like pop, poke, 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 poke. Okay, poke, 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 poke. Yes, exactly.
Okay, because I was thinking like the far right along bridge, but that doesn't work because Ashe would just poke you out.
You could. I
And
mean,
then
you could if you'd like to. I mean, maybe something to do if they weren't so fast, then maybe you could do something like. But it's pretty easy to see you move here. Is the problem. But yeah, this would just basically be passively hold the angle, just kind of poke depending on which side. Left is more about poke, push her, don't push her. You know, you could, or even just scaring her, right? Because she's thinking about it, right? And then your tracer goes, and so you follow up off of your tracer. Yeah, this is fine. So now, even though it's like you didn't get the kill, you shoved her under the locker, and then you can make a decision here. You can keep poking, or you can even go back and resume this now that her position's a little bit worse. You could even drop. It's up to you. So. I mean, this is always going to be riskier, right? But yeah, it's fine. And then obviously now that she's dead, it's a shooting gallery.
Yes.
So yeah, it was nice that you guys had Kitsune as well, because that allowed you guys to get out of the choke. Yeah, that was fine. It was fine. Yeah, I mean, there were the key thing is that like you're masters for a reason, right? You're not clueless when it comes to positioning and off angles and so on. This is good. This is not something out of expectations from a plat or a diamond player even when it comes to this. This was really, really nice. It's just not always consistent, and crucially, it's not always consistent on maps that you feel a little bit more uncomfortable and heroes that are a little bit outside the extremes, like Widowmaker, right? Like how do I take space versus a Widowmaker? Beyond that, I don't have a lot of feedback. I think planning out your high noons a little bit to be more follow up and more abusing your range might be useful. Looking for windows to push, but don't push on main, just deepen your angle or push your duel or disengage your duel. There's a couple of moments there, even going back to the first fight of the Winston bubble, that could be practiced, but I think overall, unsurprisingly, this is good. It's just not great, and I hope that you have a better idea of what needs to change.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't think, was it an issue with like how much I was supporting the team when they were getting dove?
It was how much you were willing to go back and compromise your own setup. Not just going back, but also you just wouldn't do anything. You were like basically waiting to put out a fire.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
So it's like when in reality, it's basically think of it this way. It's like spending $5 trillion for a corporation to have its own fire engine, whatever, and when there's just there's the fire station like right down the street. It's like we don't need to devote all of our resources into that when we already have something that can do that. We need to be devoting that resources into actually providing value for the company. For you, it's like your team is desperate for you to control that right room in Power ESO, right? To control that right choke, to control that high ground, right? We need you to be dealing with those things and putting pressure on Tank or Genji or whatever, and not chasing Venture around and not chasing Winston around. So,
Okay.
that's the key thing. So what space can I take depending on their comp? Because that will change. Cassie's kind of a middle of the road character. And then capitalizing off of the value once you're there.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions?
No,